Hello. We are still in Bennington, Vermont at the Catamount Motel, thus the background here. And we've been here for now 5 days, I believe. And yesterday was a very difficult day. I spoke with my nurse from Elkhart at the oncologist where I frequent, and talked to her about just what's going on and get her input on the situation with the DVT, the blood clot in my left thigh here. And the swelling actually has not changed. Every day I'd wake up and I'd think, oh, I think it's better. And Sherry would look at me and say, no,
not really.
So yesterday, after talking to her, I just asked her, I said, what worst case scenario if I put strap a 35, 40 pound backpack on and start hiking up, several thousand feet climb, do I need to be concerned about anything happening? And she just paused. She was just quiet for a while. And she said, I put myself at a really high risk for that blood clot to move and possibly go to a place in my body that could kill me. So we've made a choice, a very difficult choice yesterday, that we need to get off trail. So we have train tickets, and we're going to get on a bus and go to Albany, and then get on a train in Albany and head home to Elkhart, Indiana on an Amtrak, which we're kind of excited about that. We've never rode the Amtrak, never rode a train before, so that's something good. But we want to just share with you a little bit about some things that have happened while we've been on trail. Just crazy stuff in our personal lives. And Sherry, maybe you could just tell them a little bit about you.
First of all, we were talking to our granddaughter yesterday, and as excited as we are to go home and see family, and yet you have in your heart these same emotions, this great sorrow. And it's just amazing what that your heart can have both feelings at the same time. And so it's been just trying to deal with those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
A
lot of emotions.
Women
for
have
sure.
so many.
I have a lot of emotions. So.
In the beginning, all I could think about is everything that the AT is taking away from me, because it was so hard. And emotionally, physically, I felt like a lot was being taken from me. I think I had some emotional things that I had to work through, as far as my comfort level was so important to me, and all of a sudden there was none. And
privacy.
Privacy was huge. Squatting out in the woods, and everybody knows it, and it was just humiliating over and over every day. And so I felt like the AT had taken a lot from me, and I think probably I almost resented it. I didn't want to quit, but it was just really hard. And
but you wanted to quit sometimes.
Yeah, I did. But I wouldn't, because I wanted to be with my husband. And so we kept going. And I remember when we got to Harper's Ferry, kind of the halfway point, and I couldn't believe I had made it that far. I knew Rick would, but I was surprised that I did. And when we got to Harper's Ferry, something changed in me, and I knew I was going to make it. I knew that I would be able to climb the rest of the mountains and not hate them anymore. And I could feel my body getting really strong, and our bodies are amazing. What we put them through, and how they perform for us, but now going home, and it looks so different from what we thought it would. I think about all the things that the AT gave me, and I will forever be grateful for these 4.5 months. I can't even hardly put into words the things that I feel that have changed, and yet I'm still just Sherry. And but I'm thankful, so thankful for this journey that we've gotten to do this. And it's been amazing. It has been a true gift.
Yeah. Crazy enough, when we started out, February 21st, we started out in rain. I remember it rained a lot. It was cold. And I remember saying, I just wish it wouldn't always be cold. We'd go to bed and it was cold. We'd wake up and it was cold. And in our quilts, underneath our quilts, we were very warm, but as soon as you got out, you were cold. And that transition over that 4.5 month period of time, things like having to go to the bathroom in the woods became so natural and normal that you weren't embarrassed about it anymore. You just say, you set your pack along the trail and go back off the trail a little bit. And when hikers would come by, they just, if they see a pack there, they don't look around to see where you're at. They know what's going on, and they're just look ahead. And we soon learned a trail culture, and it kind of changed us because everything that sustained us was on our backs. And before we would pick anything up and put it in our pack, we would consider the weight. And there was a lot of life lessons, and I'm sure I'll get to share a lot of those things as time goes on. But this 4.5 months have been the best season of our life. We've never experienced anything like this. We're grateful that the church allowed us to be gone for this period of time. It didn't work out the way we anticipated it would, but we don't regret ever that we started this journey. Things like sleeping in our little tiny tent here. This is a 2-person tent, and it's kind of a joke when they say a 2-person tent when you're buying ultralight backpacking gear. That really means it's comfortable for one, but 2 are going to really be crammed. But at the end of the day, we looked forward to more than anything crawling in our little tiny tent. And as bad as we stunk, we didn't mind. We both smelled the same. I'm sure I smelled worse than Sherry, but we both stunk, and after a while you just got used to it. I mean, you don't get to wash your clothes but once every 5-7 days, sometimes longer, and you just get used to it. And it really kind of exposed a lot of things about us to ourselves. Things like my little bear bag and my rucksack here, that I would have to put some rocks in this bag, and I did videos and throw that up over a branch, and that became very normal, very natural. And I didn't mind if people were watching and it took me 10 throws. That happens sometimes, but in the beginning I was so embarrassed and so conscious of it. By the end of the trail, you realize these people are all in the same boat. We're all doing the same thing, and there was this camaraderie along the trail. There's a fella here at the motel. There's a lot of hikers that are coming in and out of here, and this morning some of them were getting in the car and leaving, and it was just this sadness in me to see them going off, and yet they're going to get back on the trail, and yet this enthusiasm for them that you're getting to go. So glad that you get to hike. And we met a lot of day hikers and weekend hikers and section hikers, and we kind of joked about it. The section hikers really had it the worst. They would say, "Oh, I'm just section hiking. I'm only doing 100 miles." And we're like, "No, you're the real trooper, because you're just getting your body whipped into shape, and then you quit. You got the worst part that you did." And we've got through that. So we really had a lot of, we had applause for those who were doing section hiking. But we want to let you all know you have been very supportive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Some of you have gifted us money to buy things like jerky or a hot meal or maybe a motel. And I just want to tell you, those were not just physical things that you did, but emotionally it was a real boost for us. Sometimes it got pretty, when you have a lot of days where the weather's really bad and a lot of wind and just uncertainties. Things don't work out the way you wanted them to. Your gear is always wet. You may have 3 or 4 days straight where the gear is always wet. Your clothes are damp, they never dry out. Your sleeping quilt is damp. It gets emotionally, kind of takes a toll on you, and then somebody gives you some money, says, hey, buy some beef jerky, and it's like, yes.
Or a text.
Mm-hmm.
And on Facebook, so many of you said that you're praying for us and that you care for us, and that just blew me away. Our community is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those comments, we read them over, and it really blessed us.
Mm-hmm.
It encouraged us, and it spurred us on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want you to know that that was very meaningful to us.
Yeah. And even people that we didn't know before the trail, and we just know them vicariously, through hiking and things, or they followed us. Some of you we've never met. This one couple from Texas that really invested in us. We're so thankful for their input about a week before we got on trail, and every now and then they just send a text and encourage us, and we're so thankful for each one of you. We want to let you know we're going to keep posting videos, so you'll see videos as we put stuff together, just footage that I didn't have time to do, and but we want you to know that we are officially off trail, going home, and in the immediate future we're not making any plans getting back on. It took a lot of the logistics and everything. We don't know. We're not going to plan very far ahead. Right now we're just going home, and so that's all we know for sure. But thank you for following us. Thank you for your encouragement. We love you, many of you. We've never met in person, but it's been so good to connect with you. So God bless you, and we will stay in touch. We'll do our best to keep posting some videos. I've got some files, 2 SIM cards, little micro SD cards that got corrupted. So if I can uncorrupt those cards with some help of maybe my 14-year-old friend Audrey, we'll get there's some good footage that I hope to capture and be able to post those videos. So we'll stay in touch. God bless you, and thank you for all your support.